Hi everyone, Anthony Fantano here, internet's busiest music nerd. It's a great day to be alive. It's a great day to be listening to music. And this is a review of the new self-titled Fuzz album. Fuzz is the collaborative duo of multi-instrumentalist and garage rock, garage punk, modern garage punk icon Ty Segall, as well as Charlie, who Ty has actually performed with and collaborated with on numerous occasions, the most recent of which I believe was actually bringing Charlie on as a guitarist in the Ty Segall band, which dropped a full-length LP last year. Except Charlie and Ty take this LP in a slightly different direction by embracing some influences from the worlds of heavy psych, stoner rock, a little bit of hard-nosed blues rock or classic rock. But the downside is that a lot of the songs here feel like they could have really been swapped out and thrown onto any other Ty project, and they really wouldn't have thrown off the track listing or the flow of the album or anything like that. Like the opener on here, Earth and Gate, doesn't sound too unlike many songs from the Slaughterhouse album. And honestly, it's not that memorable of a tune either. The intro is overly long. When it starts getting good toward the end, it just kind of fades out, and the vintage riffs that are played throughout this song at a very high speed, while they're not bad, the very chaotic and distorted production kind of just blurs them all together, and they lose some of their defining characteristics, I think. The only part of the song that really stuck out to me as being awesome was the blaring, fiery guitar solo that pops in before the song finishes off. There are other spots, though, on this LP that come off as memorable, like the really crunchy riffs on the song Sleigh Ride. I love the groove that Ty and Charlie hit on this song. It really reminds me of something that could have been on the Stooges record Raw Power. Also, the blaring lead guitars toward the beginning of the track, they're harmonized in a really odd way. It adds a bit of a quirky characteristic to the song. And the spot on here where Ty is singing about isolation is one of the few moments here that are memorable from a lyrical standpoint. The song Loose Sutures wasn't a bad moment on here. Actually reminded me of an incredibly extreme version of an old Led Zeppelin song or two, especially when they hit that distorted peak around the middle point in the song. And there's a huge drum solo that finishes this track off, and it builds into this really explosive finish that is maybe one of the most fantastic points of this album. The song What's in My Head is one of the darker tracks off of this LP, and really feels like Ty is borrowing in a huge way from Black Sabbath, especially with the huge, elongated, and just overly emphasized drum fills. And the vocals on the verse from this track are pretty melodic as well. It's a welcome change of pace from some of the snotty and snide and sort of vocals that you usually hear on other Ty songs, that you usually hear on other songs on this record. While I'm not against the really raw and aggressive presentation that Ty's music usually delivers, I feel like a lot of the time he allows that to overshadow things like finer details and grander and possibly more progressive ambitions. Typically, Ty bringing other musicians to the table ends up in a record that is a bit of a standout, does shake things up in his discography a bit, does bring some new elements or just some newer sounds to the table, but maybe this time it didn't quite happen. Though still, you know, there is that energy here, there is that ferocity. Like I said, there are some worthwhile solos and some great interplay between Ty and Charlie when they focus on that, but it feels like the songwriting sort of fell to the wayside on this album a bit. But if you've given Fuzz a listen, what did you think of it? Did you love it? Hate it? Why? What do you think I should review next? And that's it. Anthony Fantano, Fuzz forever.